Very camp-like.
Hey, Claude. Buffett's concert is from Key West tonight.
I'm going to have to go then.
Yep.
John, I see you. You just gotta, and your audio is coming up.
Okay.
You're there, John.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, take care. Thanks. Yeah.
Logic and Mega. What time is in Japan? What time Sunday?
9 o'clock in the morning.
9 in the morning. Oh, that's cool.
9 in the morning. Oh, I got you. Finally. So how many do we have here? 4?
We have 57 people on at the moment.
Oh,
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
How do I see? How do you see everybody?
I can't hear anything.
I'm not sure if everybody's screen shows it. On the bottom, you'd see participants. And
Okay.
for those of you that are, those of you, oh yeah, it could be on the top and bottom. It ends up in different spots. What you're looking at.
Click participants.
If you're on a desktop or on your computer, you can just scroll on the right and left.
Oh, it gave me a,
There's arrows that can take you through the different pages.
Okay.
Yeah, those little arrows.
Somebody's flying. Someone's flying. Yeah.
It just gave
Gabriel.
me
Yeah.
Marcus, every time you get on a Zoom meeting, you're eating.
Gotta find a time to eat sometime.
That's the only time you eat, huh?
Basically, if we're doing any camp songs tonight, I'm not doing swimming in the pool again.
You did great, though. On the fly.
Put me up for Princess Pat. That one's in like muscle memory into me. So.
See, Abby's going right over it.
Okay, somebody mentioned if you click on participants, on the right-hand side, you get all the participants' names.
Right.
I got all their names, but I don't have everybody
on the same screen, right?
Yeah, you have to move among screens
the top
to be able to see
right
them.
corner, it should say speaker view or participant view, and if you click on that, it can cycle through the different views.
Yeah, it usually says gallery view, Ruthie, in the top right corner. And if you click gallery,
and I've got 9 of you, but
Just put your thing on mute. I'll call you. Hit the microphone and mute yourself.
I'll get her.
Mute myself.
Yeah.
And then so after you have the 9 pictures, there's a little arrow on the right hand side, and if you click it, you can go through more pictures.
What's that? Resetting the computer.
It's a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah, it's worse than the coronavirus. Yeah. Can we say? Anyway, Darren, is Jim Shear around? Is he still?
He's retired. He's living in Plymouth, and it's his birthday today. Actually, he's having a birthday party.
Wow! Is he coming on or what?
I'm not sure if he's coming on or not. We'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah, hard to believe he was my counselor.
Yeah,
right.
It's 5 o'clock in Idaho, so I'm making dinner right now. So.
All right.
Oh, we want pie. Send a pie.
I would love pie from you, Beth.
Well, it's 9 in the morning in Japan, so
We'll
you're all invited.
Yeah.
Breakfast pie is the best pie.
Oh yes. Oh, a
Now, are we in the? Excuse me. Are we in the pre 1990s room or what?
No, what we've got, John, is this is everybody on the kind of update call, and at the end of it, we'll close out this call, and then you can choose any of those other rooms meetings to go to, and you can click through different ones. We'll talk about that, right? So you can go from room to room if you wanted to, and or meeting to meeting really is what it is instead of rooms. But
where are you right now? Are you up at camp?
Yeah, I'm up at camp. I'm actually in my house at camp.
Oh, okay. This is fun. I don't know anyone though. Other than you.
Well, if you look around and see Elizabeth Evans is there, you may have run into her over times. Betsy
No,
Evans.
I don't.
I'm
I don't
Ray's
know.
granddaughter.
That's Ray's
Allison
granddaughter.
Shear. Allison Shear.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting a text here that we've got several people trying to track down that password for getting in. So we'll wait just a minute or two more here.
I found out I have to swipe.
Ah, yes, you can swipe.
Kyle's eating.
Bring Darren's home.
Yes.
Hi, Ellen.
New meetings are fine.
Who's that? Who's that kid? I don't know.
Someone's outside swinging on a swing.
Yep.
No,
Kind of a
I
unique
got
thing. You can be about anywhere.
That's
Just gonna-
Aaron. Right.
That worked pretty good.
Well, there's a castle.
Hey, Anton. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Ruthie?
Addison, are you in your plane?
Good to see you.
I wish.
Ah, I just saw your picture there.
Ah, that's how we get everybody. I got it.
Yeah, kind of scroll along.
Randy. Tiger.
Yep.
Hi, Randy. Do you remember me?
Yeah, you guys would have been there about the same time.
Yeah, we were. I'm sure.
Here we go.
Randy,
Hi,
I think you got
Hi,
your mute on.
Randy.
A lot of people that have been involved with camping.
You got your mute on, Randy.
Been open for.
Hello, everybody.
He's still got it on. I can't hear him.
Here we go. We'll unmute him for you. There you go.
Okay,
Hi, Randy.
Hello there, young man. How are you?
I'm fine. Do you remember me?
Um,
Do you remember my brother Scott?
He looks a little like you in this angle.
Wells.
I remember.
Wells, Randy. Scott Wells.
Wow.
Hey, Ruthie.
Yes. John.
Yeah, I was up in camp. I was a senior counselor, junior counselor, and a camper for 10 years.
Wow. Good for you.
Well, I think I remember your name, Randy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, normally associated with trouble.
That's right.
You were in you were in ranch.
Was.
You were in ranch, right?
Yes, I was. You're right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Worked
So
for Ron Olson and Jim Spear. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's me here.
Man, how time flies, huh?
I live in Japan now. Yeah.
Wow. Are you retired?
Well, I taught English for 50 years, and then, but unfortunately, I'm battling cancer right now. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put you in our prayers then.
Well, thank you, but that's I shouldn't even mention that. But anyway,
Well, that's okay. It's a fact of life.
Yep. Okay,
Darren,
looks like.
what keeps you so youthful? Oh,
Say it again.
What keeps you so youthful?
Hanging around all these young people.
All right.
I don't know if the gray beard looks so youthful though.
Well, I did. I meant from the forehead up. Okay. Because here's my speaker. Ready? There you go.
Never have a bad hair day.
Yeah, that's the chemotherapy I'm getting. Okay.
Well, it looks like we've kind of leveled out on people coming in. So I think I'm going to get started here so that nobody's waiting around too much. And what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to mute everybody. And that way, kind of the background noises at people's places will kind of fade away. And I see here I'm being asked to do something that I thought I did already. Hold tight. There we go. Welcome to this quite historic event, I guess you'd say. You know, there's never been a virtual State of Camp alumni meeting that I'm aware of. I know a lot of alumni do get together on Zoom and talk, but you know, this is such an unusual time that it's great. At least we have this function we can work with. You know, we'd hope to have all of you here on site for Alumni Day and Alumni Weekend, and you know, we wanted you all out putting up tents today, and it would have been a really good day for putting up tents. It's a beautiful weather. It's supposed to snow overnight though, so probably not a great night to sleep in the tents if you were planning on that. If you didn't get the word, we didn't cancel the Alumni Weekend. What we did was we postponed it, and our hope is that it will be able to kick off on August 28th through the 30th. So if you had signed up for today's event earlier and were coming, you should have gotten an email and had the chance to move your registration. We're still kind of working out getting everybody where they're going, and then in about a week or so, we'll open up those registrations online again so that even more people can come to that August weekend. And you know, I'm hoping to plan that's going to be a We Made It celebration weekend. There'll be less tents to put up and more fun to be had. Is what I'm thinking of. But you know, we've got this virtual version for now, so that hopefully tonight we can get you guys a chance to kind of catch up and learn a little bit about what's going on at camp, and hopefully make it as close as possible to what you would have done when you were here. So here's how it works. You know, I'm going to talk for a while on the state of camp, probably about 40 minutes or so, maybe. We're going to let you know where we're at in our process, what's going on here, the timelines, all that good stuff. And we've got a few videos for you to show you around camp, so you can actually see some of what you would have seen if you were actually here on site. And we're going to talk a little bit about the projects that have happened in the last couple of years. Now, last year our Alumni Day kind of got rained out, and so there's only a few people that were here. So we'll kind of go over what's happened in the last couple of years to catch everybody up. And at the end of my spiel, I'll do a little question and answer very shortly. Then the idea of those links that we sent you is that we want to try to kind of simulate, kind of what happens at camp. If I was doing this in Western Lodge, we'd do the little talk, and you guys would ask some questions, and then we kind of break up, and some groups would sit over here in the lodge, some would go on the porch, some would go have a campfire, and you get a chance to talk a little bit. So what we tried to do is to make a way that you could still do some of that. And that's what those other rooms are about. So at the end of this meeting, we'll actually close this meeting, and then those links you could find on our website. We sent them out in the email that went out. We're finding that some of those all of a sudden needed a password that didn't before. The wonders of Zoom that we're having fun with. So John's working on fixing that right now. And then on our website at anokijig.com, under the what's the second from the end is Beyond Camp, I think, or What's More Than Camp. And right underneath there, you'll find the alumni link, and you'll see a page that's got all those links in it. And those meetings will go for about 40-50 minutes whenever Zoom kicks us off. And the idea is that each of our program folks and helpers are going to be kind of moderating those, just kind of opening the space. And we've kind of divided up into some that where you can get information or share information. And then we divided up by kind of age time frames, like you'd be sitting at a table with the people that you went to camp with, just so you can sit and chat and talk a little. And you can also feel free when we do that to bounce around to all the other tables, all the other rooms. So that's, we hope it'll be something that will give you a chance to get a semblance of what hopefully you were hoping to do at camp. It is new technology for us, so we're hoping that it works. It's an experiment. You know, afterwards, you know, do get in touch and let us know how you think it worked. Without further ado, the state of camp. Basically, it's kind of all normal, wouldn't you think? You know, I mean, we are used to controlled chaos here, and I would call this chaos. And so we should be well equipped to address it. You know, it's a tough time. It's a tough time all over the place, and it's a tough time for camp because we can't have people here. You know, I think going forward here, I'm gonna address the monkey that's floating out in the ether now, of you know, what's happening right now at camp, and will camp run, and will we survive this pandemic? And I'm telling you, we will. We're gonna find a way to do it. I've released a couple of videos so far that are on our website. There's a link called Corona Response, and we'll be doing another one a little later in the month. The last one I did is up there now if you wanted to go review it. And that's kind of lays things all out in a bit of detail. But I'll give you another update here. So for some of you that might have seen those, this might be a little bit of review. But yeah, if not, this would be new information for you. So opening up. Yes, we're planning to open up. Now there are some camps out there that have canceled for the summer. They made the decision that they didn't think they'd be able to go or be able to go safely. We haven't made that decision. And there are many camps in Wisconsin in the Midwest that are still kind of in the same boat as us. We've been on Zoom calls once a week with about, so I don't know, 60, 80 other camps that are kind of waiting till we get enough information to make a good, solid answer to whether we can open, whether we can open on time. You know, our staff is nearly fully hired, and they're doing their video training already. You staff that are sitting out there, if you haven't finished up there, get out there and do it. You know, we're making some alternative plans to kind of condense our normal 2-week staff training, so that if we can't get the staff training started on time, we can hopefully do it in a little quicker way and do some stuff online to do that. But you know, really, the reality right now is that there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of things that we're waiting for. The biggest thing right now is that we're waiting for some guidelines from the CDC in conjunction with the ACA and the National YMCA. They're kind of all working together to build a little field guide of how we could safely open a camp. And they were supposed to have those things done yesterday. They're running a little bit behind. But there's going to be specific for resident camps. So I was on a meeting on Friday with the group that's doing this. And basically they said next week they'll be kind of slowly sending out information for different sections of this. It is available on the ACA website to the public. So you can get on the ACA website and go to their Corona Response, and you'll see a listing of this field guide and all the different things that they'll be looking at. You know, they'll be looking and making specific guidelines for general safety, for health and safety, for food service, cleaning, transportation, programs, you know, how many people can be together at a time, when and where you need to wear masks and things like that. So once those things come out, what we'll do is we'll evaluate it. First of all, I'll get together. Leslie Hertz is one of the doctors that helps out for a week each summer in the Health Lodge. I'll get together with her and Ruthie, and we'll look at all the health end of things and see what we would need to do in our program on our facility to address that. And then with the other staff at camp, we'll look at the food service and how can we meet the guidelines in the program, and how can we meet the guidelines, and how can we meet the cleaning. You know, what would we need to change about our program or how we do things in order to meet some of those new guidelines. And you know, I'm sure there's going to be some to make it work. But we're going to look at all the possibilities to see what we can do to make it work. We're looking at a lot of different contingencies right now. May we need to have smaller camp groups? Might we have to have less kids in camp at a time? That maybe we do housing a little differently. It may not be as many in a tent or a cabin at a time. Maybe we have different schedules. Maybe we do things more as sections so that we can keep a smaller group together more of the time. So all those things are things we're looking at so that we can try to meet the guidelines and still have a quality Anokijig experience that again is safe and is as safe as we can possibly make it. It'll be a challenge to try to jump those hoops, but again, I think we've met a lot of challenges in the past that we can sure try to do again. But health and safety is what's going to drive the bulk of it. Now, once we figure all that to see if we can meet those guidelines, then it's when can we open? And that's really driven right now by the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin has what's called a Badger Bounce Back program. And basically, it's a 3-phase program to determine what types of businesses and what types of organizations can safely run based on a series of health statistics. How many people are testing positive for the virus, how much medical equipment is available, how many beds are available, how much testing is available. There's several metrics. And basically, to not go too deep in, there is, to get started into this phase 1 that they have out, we need to have, the biggest thing is we need to have 14 days where the percentage of people that are tested positive in the state go down. Now, they were doing pretty well a few days ago, had 4 days in a row where it was going down, and got us all excited. And yesterday they went back up by just a tiny bit. So from today, we need to have 14 days of a downward trend in order for that first phase to start. If we get into that first phase, that's where they say that 10 people can be together at a facility. Well, that's kind of like all of us that are already here. So that doesn't help us a whole lot. If it goes for another 14 days and things stay steady or go down, then we can get 50 people together. And 50 people we may be able to work with. It's not necessarily 50 people that are in camp at a time. It's 50 people that are together at a time. So we may be able to have 150 or 200 people in camp, but we'll keep them separate in groups of up to 50 campers and staff together. So that's another possibility for us. And then if there's 14 more days where it's all good, then you move into a phase 3 where there's no restrictions possibly. There might also be different restrictions that the health department puts on us even after that. So all of it's still a little bit unknown, and we're going to be working with it as it comes. Now, given that things have gotten stuttered a little bit with this gating criteria, they call it, getting open on time is still possible. It's getting near a stretch to actually have all those dates line up, but it's possible. It is highly likely, and we're preparing pretty heavily that we might have to adapt week 1. Might have to move it. Might have to have less kids that week or move staff training into that week. And if it comes to where we need to cancel a week, the plan is at this point not to cancel the summer. We'd cancel by the week, and the kids in that week would then get first priority for any openings that are in later summer weeks. So we can kind of roll them over, hopefully. and hopefully we can still serve their needs there. The other thought is if we can get open in the first week or two, we could also, at the end of our summer, we have week 10 where we have some groups in, where we might have a smaller group camp to utilize for those kids to come into also. So our goal again is to have as many kids be able to come to camp and still get the experience that Anokijig has to offer, and do whatever we can to make that happen. And we know that there's a lot that do want to come. We're still getting calls. As of the 13th of March, we had, at that time, we had 192 spots left out of 3,025. We maxed out at 3,025 camper weeks, and we had 192 left. The 20th of March, we had 166 left that weren't filled, and waiting lists in all of the weeks. Yesterday, we had 246 spots. So we have had some people cancel, some people for financial reasons, which we're hoping to start some fundraising to help them still be able to come, even though they've lost jobs and things like that. And some out of fear. Some are saying their kids are going to stay home. They're just not going to take the risk. And there's others that are calling to see if we've got spots. About an hour ago, I had somebody call and say, "Hey, is your camp open for the summer?" I said, "We're sure hoping to." I said, "Well, my daughter wants to come for 2 weeks." And I said, "Well, jump on that waiting list." And I'm thinking we'll have more people that'll cancel, but we'll have more people that'll come off the waiting list too. So if we can accommodate our full amount, there'll be people that are wanting to do it, which is a good thing. Now, because of our recent success and some real shrewd moves by our board members, financially, we've gone into this in a better position than most camps. We've been putting away money and saving while we're still paying down the debt. Our debt right now for our main camp loan is about 1.6 million. 12 years ago, we started at over 5.5 million. That's amazing for an organization the size of us. And that's still being paid off. And even though we were making those payments, we were still able to stock some money away, kind of in a rainy day fund and kind of in a capital fund. And I kind of call this a rainy day. It's it's there if we need to use it. But that'll give us some peace of mind going forward. Now, in the worst of cases, the way I look at it, the kind of worst case scenario, if we can't run summer camp for all summer and we need to start up in August, from the calculations that we've done, budgetary type things, we would still make it by the end of the year. We would still be able to get through. We'd have to use up all those reserves, and we'd have to do a little more fundraising, but not a huge amount in order to stay solvent. We don't want to get that thin, of course, but I guess I tell you that now so that hopefully you can sleep a little bit better tonight. That we are not we're not at death's door. There's still many things we can do to make sure the camp stays here for a long time. So keep that in mind. And we're going to be wrapping up all different types of fundraising you're going to hear about from Allison very soon to help out in that department too. So, I think about it recently. I've thought back to where this camp has come from, and it started in 1926, and when did the Depression hit? 1929. They were only open for 3 years before they dove into the Depression, and they made it through the Depression, and they made it through World War II, and they made it through the polio scare. Fact is, I need to talk to some of those folks that were here during that polio scare because it's gotten pretty similar to what happened then. We made it through the H1N1 virus where everybody was gloved up and serving. And of course, we made it through the sale from the YMCA. So we've seen some challenging times at this camp over the years, and we've always been able to steel ourselves to come together to find a way to make it through. And that's why I think we're just going to do now. And I don't see it any differently this time around. Once we figure it out and get the green light to go ahead and get people up here, one of the things I'll need from a lot of you is some time. There's a lot that still needs to be done to put the camp back together. We're slowly getting things up. But those weeks of volunteer weekends that are usually in March and April, and the weekend like this to put up all the tents, they haven't happened. So when we get that green light, I'm going to be calling on what did I call it? I called it the Anokijig Volunteer Guard. And on our website right now, we put up a page, again, under that's the alumni area that's is a kind of a sign up. Actually, it's not in the alumni area. I apologize. It's under the volunteer area of just a page that you could sign up for if you think you might be available for some time based on what's going on with you these days, where you can say, I'm usually available on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Here's my phone number. And you can be kind of on that short list for us to call to get things up and running. So we'll be counting on some of you to make that happen. I know many of you won't be able to, because some of you will have other things. But just know that those calls will be going out as soon as we can. So stay tuned to our website, to the Facebook, to Instagram, and if you ever want to know what's going on, you can definitely email me. You can email camp. You can give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk. So that's kind of about where we are with that. Kind of holding and hoping to make it all work. In the meantime, the on-site staff have been planning some great programs. They've been putting them up on our Camp at Home link on the website. Some really neat things to see up there. There's some craft demos and a yoga class you can take with Heidi. There's a bee class there. I believe we've got a virtual horse ride out there. And there's a solar system class, I think, up there. As well as on social media, we've been putting some passwords, and several of you have offered up passwords. I appreciate that. We'd love more if somebody wants to do a video password that we can send out. There's some games, some bingo games. Claude took a bunch of his photos because he's a great photographer, and made them available for backgrounds for Zoom. So you can put them on as a virtual background, like you see some of us have. And there's more yet to come. So keep an eye on that for some fresh stuff. And even more importantly, the camp trading post for 2020 is officially open. We got all sorts of new clothing in, neat looking stuff. And fact is, Heidi had several of us go down and do live modeling this time around. So you'll actually, instead of seeing it laying on a table, you get to see it on a person. So check out that and buy to your little heart's content. Be ready to come to camp. I'm talking to you, Ruthie. Make sure you get on there. So fill up on that trading post stuff. We got lots. It just all came in and nobody's been buying it yet. So we got a little bit of everything. What else is new at camp? Well, let's talk about what's changed or upgraded in the last couple of years. First, I'm gonna make an announcement of a change that might be bittersweet for many of you. At staff training, one of the things we do is we'll take out, and for about an hour, we take out tons of old photos. We take all the bins of photos out, and we lay them out on the tables, and the new staff and the young staff look through those photos. And I have them look for what things are the same as in the past, and maybe what things have changed, what's different than what was in the past. And they often find cool looking things. They find activities that we'd never let anybody do anymore, like gunnel pumping or canoe jousting. We might do it in a different way. But they also find old symbols in the photos, in the brochures. You know, on those early brochures, there's a Native American symbol that stands for peace, but it looks very much like a swastika. It's good, but it's backwards. It's not the same. You know, there's a picture of some people that might even be on this call doing a skit with the Coneheads from Saturday Night Live in the 70s. That looks an awful lot like a bunch of cute Ku Klux Klan people. They find a flag raising where the whole group is standing doing a flag ceremony, saluting the flag with their hand in the air, very reminiscent of the Nazi salute. It's not the Nazi salute because they do it with their hand up, with hand to God as part of the challenge. And what I explain off of that is that, you know, camp changes with culture. Culture changes, and we reflect that culture. And you know, when those kind of symbols got co-opted by the bad people, you know, then those Nazi symbols or things that looked like them or the salutes, well, we changed them here so that there wasn't any confusion about what this place was about. And that happens in society in general. But you know, you need to change it so that it is clear what things are. Which brings me to a symbol that's been with Anokijig since 1926, and that's our Indian head. You know, it's my understanding that the Indian head came from the Miami, Ohio University Indian head. They kind of copied that. And at that time, that image was seen by most to represent really good values, and it was part of the name of Anokijig and that tradition. However, as times have changed, a silhouette of a Native American's head is not viewed that way by many people, by most people, especially not one that's red. So it's a tough one to have sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong. I revere our positive history, the Indian village and the Anokijig dancers, and the symbol that did represent, but it just doesn't match that anymore. In fact, this year we have 3 Native American women on staff for whom I've been planning over the last year with one of them to put together some new Native American classes and presentations to bring back some of the true Native American spirits and bring that back up, but in a way that is appropriate for today's sensitivities. So as of now, we're going to start to retire that Indian head. It left our paperwork many years ago. I'm not sure if anybody noticed at that time. And our next steps are our sign and our banner. I'm looking for somebody to help make another banner for us with our new symbols. But they're not really new symbols because you're going to recognize them, that we use all the time. We're not going to throw away the Indian head. We're not going to go hide it in a shed somewhere. Eventually, we'll find a spot where we can properly display it in a history display with the proper context, because it does represent positivity from the past, just probably not now. With that brings me to being able to unveil. Let me do a little magic with the computer here if I can, bear with me. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I've got a little PowerPoint that I've put together very quickly, really in the last hour. So it's really my first PowerPoint I've put together, so bear with me the quality here. This is going to share the screen. Okay, let's see here. Something like that. Tell you what, let me ask one of you here. Randy, can you see my screen? It looks like you'd see a bunch of pictures on the side.
Yes, I can.
Looking at yourself. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, then let me see if we can do this. So, So here is the new camp sign.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful wood carved sign by the gentleman that does the other signs in camp. Scott just got it put up the other day, and I think it's a beautiful representation for Camp Anokijig.
Yep.
Two-sided, just like the other one. And here you see it on the new pole. We actually had to put a new pole up because somebody backed into the old pole in the fall and it knocked it right over. So it was timely as far as that goes. And I thought, instead of just me talking at you and clicking through photos, that today I went out and did some videos. So hopefully you'll be able to hear these. Let's make sure our video is up. And let's see how it works. I'm going to pause it for a moment. You guys hearing this video at all?
No, we're not.
Oh, so that part's not working.
No.
Okay. Well, tell you what, I'm going to mute it and I'll narrate it for you. You're seeing it okay though, right?
Yeah, can hear it just fine.
There is an option, Darren, when you go in to share your screen, there's a checkbox where you can also share your computer's sound.
Oh, okay. Well, let's give that a try. Well, actually, I'll just talk through it here. Okay, so let's go back here. Bear with me a second. I'm going to escape out of that. Go back to where we were. Well, all right. So basically, I took you down the road there, and you saw that part yet. So we'll move forward a little bit. The camp road itself is the town of Ryan is going to pave this chunk of it for us. Found out that they were supposed to be taking care of it for the last 30 years, and they found out through their lists. So we're going to pave this top part so that we don't have the ruts here and make it a little bit better. And then as we get down to the Void House, of course, we saw the horses. There's a few horses out there. They're out in winter pasture still. We'll start moving them to the other pastures soon so they can eat grass. And we're going to start kind of doing them normally so that they don't just eat and eat and eat and eat. The Void House got a brand new cedar shake roof over the last year, as did the smokehouse and the garage. Inside, and I had Claude take some photos. We'll have to add in later of the inside. We upgraded the bathroom and the kitchen area.
I have one carrot.
To the left over there, you saw a big culvert. The culvert underneath the road here is failing, so we're going to be putting that one in. And you notice a little more open. The emerald ash borer has made it to Camp Anokijig, and it likes to eat our ash trees. So Paul gathered up a bunch of lumberjack folks, many of you that are on this this call, and they came up and started to help to take down to clear those ash so that they didn't fall on the road. We got a lot more firewood to split too, so once we start getting up and open, there's lots of firewood that you guys can do. I think it opens up the road a little bit actually, and it's going to let things get a green up going forward. So we'll take you down the rest of the road here. You notice that it's just starting to bud out. It's just starting to get green. I would expect after we get through this this cold weather here over the weekend, they're calling for 70 degrees later in the week, that it's going to get a lot better, hopefully. Here I could have went a little faster, probably, I guess. But I was sounding my horn going around the corner so that we wouldn't be running into anybody coming back out. Don't forget to do that the next time you come to camp. Scott's been doing a lot of work kind of keeping the road graded up and keeping it in good shape. So it's, as you can see, I'm not bouncing all over the place. It's looking pretty good here. And if you watch the woods as we go up the hill here, you'll notice Paul Rendell, our super volunteer, he comes out and cuts wood all the time and does all sorts of stuff for us. And he makes little wooden mushrooms. And there's a few of them in the woods right there to greet people as they come in. And I just saw one he's working on that he's going to donate that's got a flag scene made on it. So we're coming around the corral area, coming on in towards the parking lot. And a few more trees we had to take out around there. And then as we come into the parking lot, see a little bit of equipment and a little bit of a new equipment. One of the things that was donated over the last year was the truck that you see in front of you by the Gauthier family up in Green Bay. And we were able to put a plow on it and a sander on it, so it helped us with our winter snow clearing. And the old black Suburban, the 2005, kind of bought the farm, so we bought a new Suburban, which you'll see later, and put the plow on the white Suburban, so that kind of roll it all down and keep ones going. And I think we're going to take you down to the lake a little bit. See, the lake was kind of flying around today. It would have been a good day to put up a tent, but it was a little windy. The lake's been super high this spring though, so we don't have the piers in yet. We're kind of waiting for it to go down. The parade ground area was flooded, the Gaga pits and such. But now it's just getting down to where we could possibly be putting them in the next week or so. I guess in some ways, our delays in opening, there's a few things where it's helped us out, where we've got less things that we have to challenge for. All right, let's show you another one here. This, now we're out in the sandpit field, so it's just to the north of the supply shed, and this is our prairie restoration. We started this a couple of years ago. It's Scott Maybe's baby, and he's done a lot. You know, the first thing in a prairie restoration, you need to get rid of all the stuff that's there, we're just about done with that and ready to plant the prairie and put pathways through and have a nice new prairie setting for campers to be able to study. And it'll be some more flowers for the bees to eat. We now have 3 beehives there. The bees just got new fresh crop of bees came in just a couple weeks ago. So that's our apiary. And I know Scott was feeding them here in the cold time to keep them going. And where the straw is then, or the chips that you're seeing, that's normally where a screen tent goes. And we're looking to not put up a screen tent anymore because they keep blowing down. And we're raising some funds, asking some foundations for some donations to actually build a deck there with a screen, basically a screened porch with a roof, so that we can have a good spot for the kids to safely enjoy the bees and learn all about them. Parked out in the field next door was is the Tonto tractor. And we've had him for about 30 years, I think, at least, and had a new paint job on him. And actually, down at the dealership, we got a new baler this year, so we can bale better bales of hay. And when they were putting the baler on, he was sitting down at the shop, and there was a bunch of people that wanted to buy it because it was such a good-looking tractor. So that speaks well for our farm and keeping things going. We also did a major aerating project. We bought an aerator to go plug all of our fields and our pastures, and a whole lot of fertilizing. And we got much more production out of them. Scott's done a great job of getting the production up so that our pastures are better for the horses. We can rotate them more, and we got a lot more hay yield. In fact, it's enough that we can probably sell some and bring in some cash that way. Now we're at a spot that's gotten a whole lot of changes over the last couple of years. This is the craft, we call it the hill these days. It used to be the archery hill. Some of you in the 70s would call it weed or foxwell. It's just above the parking lot. And the ash trees up here got hit too. So we took out the trees, and Scott did a great job. Scott maybe laying out and seeding some new grass seed. So we can get a grass area there. It was turned into mud anyways. So that's going to make things a little bit better. And we'll skip forward here a little bit. This is our mini golf storage box. Again, the 3 amigos put that one together, 4 amigos. And they built boxes very similar to this by their cabins and scoreboards that didn't have storage for cleaning supplies. So that now when we go around, we don't have to have a truck or anything like that. We have the cleaning supplies stored right there. And that's going to help us a lot this summer when we're going to have to be doing that cleaning. So here's the mini golf course. And I know years ago we talked about the mini golf course and people were really scared of it. It turned out, I think, beautifully. It fits right into the setting. The rocks were great. It's 9 holes of mini golf. And the families, the Indian guides, Indian princesses, and summer camp kids just seem to have a great time with it. I think it's been a great addition. Here is where we put up a tie-dye tent. One of our future projects is to build a deck in this corner so that we don't have to have that muddy spot underneath there for tie-dye. And you'll also notice that the roof on that little shed there looks pretty good because that just got replaced last year. So we got new roofs there. And about 1.5 years ago, we finally got our solar project up. And so in the outdoor ed lab there, they can watch the solar meters. We can do a solar class, and kids can really see the benefit of solar energy. And it's making money for us. It goes right to the meter. We sell it back. By the time we open up, we'll get rid of that Costco trailer. That's for storage right now. But one of the other things about that building is Joey Leger is one of our volunteers going for his Eagle Scout. And he chose his Eagle Scout project to build shelving in that building all around, shelving and cabinets to make it a much more useful lab. And some of the grants that they were looking forward to fund that project have faded away, unfortunately. So we're searching out there for about $9,000 to finish that project up and for Joey to be able to get his Eagle Scout. So if anybody knows of any other foundations or people that are science related that would like to donate to us for that particular project, let us know. It's something we'd like Joey to be able to finish up, and it definitely would be helpful for our outdoor ed program and our nature program. So now we're going to take you inside the craft shop here. New doors on it, as you can see. And Heidi's been doing a great job in there, making it better every year. About a year ago, we put in new windows there. So we got a lot more windows and we can get a lot more airflow into the craft shop and light. And when we did the roof, we put in skylights, and the skylights actually open. So they can vent things out through that, through those skylights. Nice addition to that. Outside of the craft shop, we've got the other side of the mini golf course. This hill here too is one that we've got on our project list. We want to put landscape steps there. It's always been kind of a tough hill to get up, so that's on our project list. And here's the mini golf course from the other side. Another thing that we would like to do is replace these tarp roofs. They get a tarp on top of those with an actual steel roof and solid post structure. They can make that more permanent. And you know, one of the other things that was going to happen this weekend, we had the unfortunate loss of Tyler Brown, one of our staff members this winter, and he was an archery guy. And some of these projects, the funds that came in donations from him, we were going to put funds towards those projects, as well as planting a tree in his honor up alongside the archery range. So we'll still be doing that yet this year, and we can dedicate that the next time we can all get together. All right, that leads us to the piece de resistance, what everybody's been waiting for. And it's only a group of Anokijig people that would be excited about seeing a bathroom and a kitchen door. But this is the new addition to Western Lodge. We're inside and looking right now at the staff corner. And we're still waiting to get things set up in there. And in a second here, it's going to pan around to show you the entrance to the new bathrooms. Drum roll, everybody. Roll those fingers. And here is the opening. There, I'll make you a little sick. That's the opening to the new restrooms. The inside of that hallway, they did just like the other hallways. The windows here are going to get, each one of them is going to get a sink like that, the old sink. So there's going to be 6 spigots of cold water there and shelving above it for all the pitchers. So it'll be easier to get all those pitchers filled, and you won't have to be diving into the kitchen to get that. I think that's going to end up looking really, really nice when it's done. And I'm not sure why I got you quite a tight picture of that. This is the changes in the corner. That is now a barn door, opens up much larger to be able to get in the kitchen. And to the right of that is where there's going to be another door that's got yet to be finished. So the job isn't completely finished yet. They had to order a new door to go through that log wall that'll take you back outside. The old doorway that's to the right here that we'll show you is actually now going to be a little closet. So all the stampers can put their backpacks and water bottles and all that kind of stuff there. It's about 1 foot deep. And then as we go into the restroom itself, to the right there is an area that we'll end up putting all the brooms and cleaning supplies there. So that's a much bigger area to do that than we had before. You won't all be jammed in the corner. We'll spin you around again. Got to thank my son Zach for helping me to edit this video because I had it all different ways. And only a group of Anokijig staff, I know there's a lot of Anokijig staff left on here, would want the janitor's room. You know, there's a nice little cleanup sink in there, and there's the there's all the equipment's right going to be handy coming in. And then the working spots. We've got a male and a female restroom. Automatic lights that come on when you walk in. They're all kind of a gray tone inside. Looks a little bit different than the old one downstairs, I think. It's got epoxy flooring that'll keep things nice and clean. I think they did a great job in designing it, and all the countertops and all the workmanship that Quash's Construction did for us, putting it all together. So hopefully this will be a lot more comfortable, clean place for everybody to be able to use when you come back to camp. We're going to do a christening of it this weekend, but I will save that for later. One of the things that's nice about it is it does have heat also. So in those spring and fall weekends when you've been down in the restroom down below and it's been a little chilly to sit there, this is nice and comfortable. You actually kept it warm enough when it was frozen to stay warm. So now we're overlooking the campfire ring. So we're kind of on that south end of the lodge. This area here is going to get some stone underneath it, and then a crushed kind of volcanic rock or red granite on top of it to make a nice patio area. We have a donation from Kohler for all the fixtures are donated by Kohler, and these Kohler sinks. We've got 3 in each sink, so we've got 6 spigots out here. You got 3 in each of the bathrooms. So now we've got 12 places for kids to wash their hands, which they're going to need to do a lot when we open up this summer. We've got drinking fountain coolers and a bottle filler, so we can fill your water bottles as well as get your drinking fountain. It even has the little counter, so how many plastic bottles we can save. We'll take you around the end here. And we only got a couple more minutes of video if it's getting a little long for you, but hopefully you're liking the view. The other restroom, again, heat. It's got the exterior entrance. Kind of the same setup as down in the basement. 5 people can take care of business at a time. They got their sinks. Didn't need a picture of myself. And you bounce back out into the hallway. Over there. And then if we go back outside, you're going to see where the door going into the lodge is going to be. It's actually handicap accessible now. We've got the sidewalk is built out there so that we can have a ramp going up so we can pull a vehicle right next to the building. It ramps right down to the gravel, and that gets raised up a little bit yet. And this wall is where the door will go. And if you look just to the left of that beam coming down, that would be the wall of the dish room. So you'd walk right through there, through where the brooms used to hang. And eventually, we're going to be putting a little breezeway here, maybe about 8 feet long, and put the screen door on the end. There'll be a fire door in the log wall and the screen hallway. Someday, if you want a long story about building permits, grab me. I'll tell you the story about this. It's been a burr for me. Here is the look of it from up above, up by the Health Lodge. And I think it's, all in all, it really has fit in incredibly well. I think we couldn't ask for any better. I think it's matched that building very well. We're not going to do any staining on the outside right now because it's our goal to clean up the outside of Western yet in the next couple of years, and then we'll stain it all one color. It's my hope that we can get Western back to that little lighter color that it used to be back before the 70s. And here's the new Suburban we got that we'll use for hauling kids around this year. And I think my phone kind of run out of power right about here. Oh, here's the trailer we moved up to be out of the, to make room for the restrooms. To do that, we need to pull back the hill a little bit. That's all going to be planted up later on this year so that it can, it won't erode around and look much better. It also will give more parking up on top. And eventually when we get some new offices built, we'll move that trailer out and we'll have nice parking. Other things that have happened over the last couple of years, we've gotten great donations from great Anokijig supporters, a brand new motor for our fishing boat. So those of you that used to go fishing on the blue pontoon boat and got choked out by the smoke, this one doesn't do that anymore, and it starts. Actually, it's amazing. Claude really loves it. Here, hidden away here, are 3 outdoor ping pong tables. They're actually made for outdoor. They're much more solid than anything we've ever had. And thank you to Janet Beisinger and the Beisinger family for donating these. They've been through a year of use already, probably had 13,000 people use them, and they don't look any worse for the wear. They're a great addition, and the kids enjoy them. We thank Mike Kalbach for making our new buddy board box. He made that box. You know, the old one there was kind of warped and getting in bad shape. So he donated the material and the time and made a great box for us. We also picked up a box for our SkyTrack so that we can safely go out and trim trees and hang signs and clean buildings instead of standing in the bucket of a tractor. That's kind of frowned on these days too. So this is much safer for us to do. So I'm going to stop that share. Hopefully you enjoyed that view. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you. A few other things that I wanted to highlight that have happened here, because there's a ton of stuff that's happened. In the last 2 years, we had new sink and tiles in the Lakeview cabins. We got a new hay rake. We fixed the showers in Hickory Hillcrest. Put up fans inside of there that draw the moisture out now. A new beach retaining wall project. I forgot to get a picture of down there. That old railroad tie wall was replaced by Paul and Scott, and that was it's beautiful addition. Eric Schilkraut donated 25 radios to us so that we can have our radio communications for our safety stuff. What else that I miss here? New windows on the Thunderbird building, new adventure tents, flooring. We replaced showers in the staff cabins and put a new shower in the Health Lodge cabin. So all in all, just a lot of stuff getting better at camp. Going forward, it was our hope this year to do a few more projects. That screen room for the bees, a new roof over on the Sanders property. We're looking to make a trading post cart, kind of like a food cart for our trading post, so we can have an auxiliary trading post down in the parade grounds when the free periods are rolling on, and lessen that trading post line. And we're also we're putting Calvin Chafee is out there. I think he's on the call here. He is developing a podcast for us. We're going to be starting a podcast hopefully in the near future to talk about camp, talk about camp-related items, keep people up to speed on all things instead of waiting for just once a year like this. So that is what is, and that's the update from camp. As I said, hopefully that tour got you to see some of the things you haven't been able to see. I know many of you, those of you had, maybe you got to take a little nap during it, but hopefully it helped you out. What I would say at this time, it's about 8:15. It's probably best at this time is for us to break away from this meeting and go into those kind of sub meetings. Now, one of those will be with me. If you want to ask more questions or get more clarifications about anything that I've said, but we'll be able to do it in a little smaller format if it's not for everybody. If you're looking for those links to the breakout sessions, head to anokijig.com, as John just put on the video there. It's underneath that Beyond Summer Camp under alumni, and the whole idea of these other meetings is, number one, if you want to get some information, one of them is for get information from me. One is ideas. You know, there's always ideas that could make camp better that we don't think of. And there's about 63 people on here that got heads full of ideas. So if you've got some ideas that could make us better in any part, programming, fundraising, marketing, anything that would help camp out, that's what that one's about. There is one about the facts if you're going to send your kid to camp. You know, what does camp look like these days? Maybe you're an alumni that has kids now and you're not sure if the program's the same. Jessica's going to lead one about that. We've got one, Rick Geiger, our camp cook, is doing a little room for family camp people to chat. Let's see, somebody help me out. I haven't got the list in front of me of who we're missing. We've got those different age groups that I talked about, of different time eras. And I think that's
We got
about
some
it.
fundraising with Allison.
Fundraising with Allison, that's right, cool. So, like I said, take a look at our website to grab those links. You did get some links in an email. Like I said, we found out the email. Some of those links are working. Some of them ask you for a password. Any of the links, John's got them fixed up now at the website, right, John? That they're all be active. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining with us. And all I can say is keep a very positive outlook. Keep doing great things for people. Keep that motto of "we serve" foremost in your mind and foremost in what you do. And you know, we always say, catch the spirit and share the spirit. And we have that candle ceremony where we want to pass on that flame. There's no better time than now to be doing that, to pass on those positive values that you practice at camp. And we really want to see you back here soon. And hopefully we can all join camp together and sit around the campfire and sing some songs again. All right, so I'm going to end this meeting. Hopefully we'll see you at some of those other